You have been poisoned by a modern lie. It is a sweet poison. It tastes like relief. It tastes like connection. It is the lie that vulnerability is strength. Society, your friends, even your therapists tell you to open up, to be an open book, to wear your heart on your sleeve. They promise that authenticity attracts trust. But in the cold geometry of power dynamics, that promise collapses because information is not connection. Information is ammunition. And when you reveal too much, you are quietly handing weapons to people who may one day turn them against you. 500 years ago, Niccolò Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He studied courts, rulers, betrayals, and the dark machinery of human nature. He knew that the moment you reveal the architecture of your mind, your fears, your limits, your plans, you stop being a player in the game. You become a piece on the board. You think you are bonding. They are collecting data. You think you are unburdening your soul. They are studying the cracks in your armor. This is not paranoia. It is pattern recognition. Look at your own life. How many times has a secret whispered in intimacy returned as a weapon during conflict? How many times has your honesty been twisted into guilt, manipulation, or leverage? Stop bleeding for people who cannot heal you. Today we close the gates. We will examine the 7 pieces of information you must never share with anyone, not friends, not colleagues, and often not even your partner. This is the discipline of strategic concealment, because the most powerful people in any room are rarely the loudest. They are the hardest to read. Before we begin, you must understand the psychology of mystery. Why are we drawn to the ocean? Because we cannot see what lies at the bottom. Why does the dark unsettle us? Because we cannot see what stands inside it. The human mind respects what it cannot fully comprehend. When you explain yourself too much, you reduce yourself. When you narrate your life in detail, you become predictable. And in the game of power, predictability is fatal. Machiavelli once wrote that men are simple and easily deceived, and that those who deceive will always find those willing to be deceived. He was not advising you to lie constantly. He was teaching you to curate, create a black box around your core self. Inputs go in, outputs come out, but the mechanism inside remains hidden. If people cannot see how you process the world, they cannot manipulate that process. They cannot press buttons they cannot find. Conversation should not be a confessional. It is closer to chess, and careless moves cost queens. So let's begin. The first thing you must never reveal is your ethical red line, the ceiling of your cruelty. This is where most people make their first mistake. They want to signal virtue, so they proudly declare what they would never do. I could never fire someone. I could never lie to a client. I could never cut off family. They believe they are demonstrating goodness. In reality, they are revealing their limitations. When you tell a manipulator exactly where your moral line is, you show them exactly how far they can push you before you break. If I know you avoid confrontation, I will dominate every disagreement with aggression. If I know you refuse to lie, I will exploit your honesty. If I know you cannot say no, I will drain your time and energy without resistance. Machiavelli argued that a ruler must be capable of both virtue and cruelty when circumstances demand it. He did not say you should be cruel, he said you should be capable. Capability creates deterrence. When you publicly announce your ethical limits, you quietly announce your weaknesses. So keep them private. Act with honor, yes, but never advertise the boundaries of that honor. Let people wonder what you might do if pushed too far. A barking dog is understood. A silent dog that simply watches is feared. Ambiguity protects you. The second thing you must conceal is the sweat behind the magic, your effort. Our culture celebrates the grind. We post late nights. We complain about exhaustion. We display struggle like a badge of honor. But power does not look powerful when it appears strained. In Renaissance Italy, there was a concept called sprezzatura, described by Baldassare Castiglione. It means studied effortlessness, the art of making difficult things appear easy. When you reveal how hard something was, you unintentionally weaken the result. Tell your boss you stayed up all night finishing a report and you think you are showing dedication. What he hears is inefficiency. Tell someone you spent hours preparing for a date and you think it sounds flattering. What they hear is desperation. True authority appears natural. Present the finished product. Reveal the victory. When asked how you did it, smile and say, "It just came together." Effort happens in private. Results appear in public. The third thing you must never reveal is your plan B, your exit strategy. When people feel anxious, they comfort themselves by sharing backup plans. If this fails, I'll go back to teaching. If this relationship ends, I'll move back home. But the moment others hear your safety net, their belief in your primary mission weakens. Sun Tzu described something called death ground, a battlefield position where soldiers cannot retreat. When escape is impossible, they fight with terrifying intensity. When the world believes you have no escape, they believe you must succeed. But if enemies know your backup plan, they can sabotage it. Your escape route is your final line of defense. Hide it. Appear fully committed. Conviction attracts allies. Hesitation repels them. The fourth thing to conceal is the true extent of your intelligence. There is a difference between being intelligent and displaying intelligence. Insecure people constantly demonstrate what they know. They correct others, interrupt conversations, showcase knowledge. This is a strategic mistake. When people know exactly what you know, they also know your limits. The Machiavellian strategy is simple. Appear slightly less informed than you actually are. When people underestimate you, they relax. They speak freely, they reveal plans, they lie carelessly. And while they perform their little theater, you sit quietly in the audience taking notes. Information is power only while it remains hidden. The moment you say, "I know what you did," the value of that knowledge drops to zero. The surprise disappears. So listen more than you speak. Ask questions you already know the answers to. Observe how people respond. By concealing your intelligence, you become something rare, a silent witness. The fifth thing to conceal is the reality of your finances. Whether you are struggling or thriving, money signals power, and knowing someone's true financial position creates enormous leverage. If you appear desperate, people will exploit you. They will offer worse deals, lower respect, and minimal opportunities. But if you appear excessively wealthy, you attract parasites. Suddenly there are loans, favors, and great opportunities, and worse than parasites, you attract envy. Envy is one of the most destructive human emotions. So create fog around your resources. Appear comfortable, but not flashy. If you are broke, carry yourself with quiet confidence. If you are wealthy, remain modest. Financial ambiguity protects negotiating power. When people believe you can walk away, they chase you. Now pause for a moment. Some of you may feel resistance. This sounds cold, perhaps even lonely. But understand something important. Trust is a luxury, and luxuries must be earned. You can only afford deep trust when you can survive betrayal. Until then, you must practice compartmentalization. Share stories, humor, opinions, but never share the structural beams of your life, because if those collapse, everything collapses. And the final two items are the most personal of all. The sixth thing you must never reveal is your deepest resentments, your list of enemies. People love bonding over shared hatred, complaining about exes, bosses, rivals. It feels like connection, but what you are actually revealing are your wounds. If you say someone made you feel small, you reveal insecurity. If you say someone betrayed you, you reveal unresolved pain. You are showing exactly where someone could hurt you again. Powerful people do something different. They move forward. If asked about enemies, they respond calmly, "I wish them well," and then they change the subject. This detachment is unsettling. It shows that the past has no grip on you. Silence about enemies makes you appear untouchable. The seventh and final thing you must protect is your grand design, your next big move. Everyone has one. A business idea, a transformation, a future version of themselves. But announcing it too early is dangerous. Psychologists have discovered something interesting. When you publicly announce a goal, your brain releases the same reward chemicals as if you achieved it. You feel satisfied before doing the work. Motivation drops. Strategically, it is worse. When people know your plan, they can interfere, they compete, discourage or sabotage. A dream is like a seed. If you dig it up every day to show people, it dies. Let it grow in silence, then reveal the finished tree. When you seal these 7 leaks, something changes. Energy accumulates. Think of a steam engine. If every valve is open, steam escapes with noise but produces no movement. When the valves close, pressure builds. Then the engine moves. Silence creates pressure, and pressure creates momentum. People will notice the difference. They will sense something about you that they cannot quite define. In a world where everyone fights to be heard, the quiet person commands gravity, and that is power. So if this philosophy resonated with you, if you believe power begins with self-mastery, then join this circle. Subscribe for more insights into human nature, strategy, and the dangerous wisdom of history. And before you leave, I want to ask you something. Which of these 7 things do you think people reveal too easily today? Your ethics, your plans, your weaknesses? Tell me in the comments. Because understanding power begins with a simple realization. Nobody can sabotage a plan they do not know. Nobody can attack a weakness they cannot see. And nobody can stop a future they never expected. Move quietly. Let them underestimate you. Then let your results speak. And when they finally understand what you are building, it will already be too late.